Disorientation. Welcome back to the Divine Now. I haven't done a video in about 2 weeks or so, and um, I think I just have felt disoriented just in the last few weeks, and I'm not sure if any of you have felt that way. Um, COVID has really taken the world by storm, and it seems like it's not going away anytime soon. And so that's very disorienting for a lot of us across the globe, whether we've actually had family members who have um, been affected by COVID, or people who have passed away that we love and care for, friends. Um, that's been a part of my story. I've had friends get COVID. I've had people that I know who have passed away, family members, co-workers who are now sick. It's very disorienting. It's sort of like it disconnects you, and you just try to wrap your mind around it, and you're not sure who to believe when you're looking at the news and the media and the partisanship. It's just very, very complete confusing when something of this nature takes on a political um, climate as well. So there's so much involved with just COVID itself. Um, it sort of reminds me of 9/11. I was in the military when that event took place, and very disorienting, very upsetting. And I was in Kentucky. I was at Fort Knox, and most of my company went off to Iraq. I was military intelligence, and my commander decided to keep me stateside, but most of my friends went off to war. Thankfully, everybody in my company came back safe and sound physically. Um, but when they came back, they were different people, emotionally, in some cases physically. Uh, it's disorienting. If we look at different phases in history, World War II was disorienting to a lot of people. If we look at other parts of history, there are things that have taken place that just sort of remove you from what seems to be reality. A few weeks ago, when those tornadoes went through the Midwest, uh, touched down for 200 miles, just crossing states and destroying homes and destroying families and structures, and and that was news, but those people are still living it. It's not just old news. They're living it today as they try to orient themselves back to what life was or what life needs to be now, and that's very disorienting. My question is, what do you do in the midst of disorientation? What do you do when it feels like everything around you is falling apart, everything within you is falling apart? I've recently have had conversations with people who are struggling with things internally, depression, sadness, disconnection, feelings of woe, just feelings of just heaviness. What do you do when you're disoriented, and when you don't have a fixation point, a point in which to orient yourself to? Some people have a religion or a faith system that they go back to, whether they're Christians, whether they're Muslims, whether they're Hindu, regardless of their spiritual tribe, they have that to go to. But then there are those folks who have those tools to go to, and still they feel dissatisfied. They feel like the answers aren't coming as clear and as clean as they would like them to. What do you orient yourself when even those elements seem to fall apart or don't give you the comfort that you're longing for? The only answer I have for me today, because I felt that for myself, disorientation, is coming back home to self and trusting that home is love. And I know that sounds cliche and corny, um, but outside of that, I don't know where else to land right now. To believe that love will always tell a better story. That love, in the midst of all the disconnection that we are experiencing throughout the world, that love has a better conversation to offer us. The Dalai Lama, in his book Beyond Religion, talks about a space and a place where there's a reality that's beyond everything that we seem to be, and that place is love. That place is somehow landing in the same destination point, which is love for all humanity, love for all people. And if somehow we were to get away from this us them mindset, maybe we can sort of create those safe places where we can land in what we call love or appreciation for our fellow human being in the midst of crises. And sometimes in the midst of crises, there are powerful forces that will take advantage of fear, take advantage of the crises, and keep us pulled apart, keep us against one another. Right now, it's the vaccinated against the vaccinated. And it's the classic divide and conquer model. What if we could find a way to not allow the crises around us to do that to us? What if we decided that we're not going to let disorientation keep us divided? And that's why I say love is probably the better go-to, because if we use love as our point of reference, we can come back to that. And maybe if we quiet ourselves, soften ourselves long enough, we can find some answers in that place. Outside of that, we remain disoriented and disconnected. So as I'm sort of processing and walking myself through my own personal disorientation, that's where I keep landing. That's where I keep going to. And now maybe that's just a myth that I've chosen to believe in, this idea that there is something beyond us and that love is that thing. Um, I can't prove that. It feels good to believe that. It's comforting to believe that there is something outside of us holding us together if we tap into it, and that it's not just a matter of chaos and destruction, and that's our only lot in life. I would like to believe that there is a better story to tell, and that maybe my daily participation in that better story and being kind to the person next to me, offering softness to the person next to me, offering some comfort and peace to those around me who are going through this disorientation, and somehow helping them land. Maybe that's my part for now. I don't know. Maybe that's my part with this YouTube video today, is helping you find a soft place to land in the midst of disorientation. I don't know, but I hope something said is encouraging to you, or maybe giving you some spark of hope as you're sort of walking through your own valley. The verse in the Bible, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Um, there are all these things that take place in life, and it is like a valley or a shadow or darkness. But the darkness doesn't remain, and I have to believe that. I have to believe what Anne Frank said, that there is beauty that remains in everything, even in the midst of evil. So, or even in the midst of things that are beyond us, that are hard and painful, that there is a landing strip, there is a safe place. And for me, that safe place is love. Hang in there, people. Peace to you. Namaste.